York does not stay in New York, as a controversy over the Kerry Lugar bill has proved. Welcome to Eye of the Storm. I'm Amber Shamsi. This week on the show, we'll be taking a closer look at the significant developments that took place in the Big Apple. First of all, there was a Friends of Democratic Pakistan summit, and then there was a passage of the Kerry Lugar bill. But it's not all about the money. Let's take a look at the highlights first. The US is footing the bill, but is Pakistan paying the price? Politicians speak for and against. Where are the friends in the Friends of Democratic Pakistan? Is Pakistan being colonized by the US, or is the opposition reactionary? Pakistan is getting $1.5 billion annually for 5 years under the Kerry Lugar bill. The opposition says that conditions in the bill compromise Pakistan's sovereignty. The government says that the conditions have been considerably watered down. And, well, Pakistan needs the money. Our correspondent Umar Daraz finds where the truth lies.
They were viewed as friends in Pakistan when Senators John Kerry and Richard Lugar initiated the process of lobbying for US financial support to Pakistan. The senators seemed convinced that it was a well-deserved assistance.
The bill is passed.
The much talked about Kerry Lugar bill, being criticized by opposition parties and skeptics in Pakistan for its conditions, was the result of efforts of these two senators. Approved by the US Senate, the bill pledges an annual financial assistance of $1.5 billion for Pakistan, not requiring presidential certification every year. Likely to pass through the House of Representatives in its current form, the bill has been severely criticized for conditions it places in the name of auditing of the financial assistance provided to Pakistan for social development.
It's one of the finest social development strategies that could have been put together by anybody. The difficulties come into some of those areas which actually come out of this entire bill and begin to haunt you in your face. There are certain areas where the political institutions have been granted or given some extraordinary and preeminent support. Is there a need for that to happen?
Besides others, many analysts criticize the conditions mainly on the issue of proliferation. But this is not the first time that conditions and that of nuclear non-proliferation accompanies US financial assistance. It was there in 1980s and then again in 2003. But analysts fear certain clauses in the Kerry Lugar bill bar Pakistan of utilizing its own resources for the development of its nuclear weapons program.
The focus has shifted from supplier to acquisition. Number two, then they have said that Pakistan will cooperate with the United States in all measures in counter-proliferation, not non-proliferation. And number three, they're saying that Pakistan will not divert resources, even from its own national financial resources, for the development of its nuclear weapons program, which means a cap or freeze of your nuclear weapons program.
Some experts argue that the United States fear that Pakistan might use this money for expanding its military base against India through proliferation, nuclear or non-nuclear. But opposition in Pakistan fears that US wants direct access to Pakistani nuclear scientists and its nuclear program through this bill. They say the conditions attached with the bill curb Pakistan's sovereignty on many aspects. But many analysts believe that Pakistan should take it, despite the fact that the amount is much less than Pakistan has spent on war against terror. But they too maintain that certain clauses of the bill should be negotiated.
When it comes to Pakistan, we should be able to interact before that to ensure that our reservations, if any, and there should be a few which have come out in the last few days, and those should be discussed. If we have not been able to put our word through, then I think it's a failing. If it has been deliberately put in, it's a very major weakness.
Many believe this is for the first time that the United States has committed itself to democracy and democratic government in Pakistan. Except a few, all conditions attached with the bill are also a part of Pakistan's state policy. Analysts, however, suggest that the bill should be presented in the parliament for discussion before approval. The opposition should focus on the real issues in the Kerry Lugar bill. It should uphold the national interest and stop playing politics. Umar Daraz, DawnNews.
The bill has stirred a strong brew of controversy. We asked politicians why they support or oppose the Kerry Lugar bill.
They treat Pakistan not as a friend, but as a foe, which is suspiciously doing things that are contrary to the interests of peace and security and stability in the region. We are put in the dock, and we are presumed to be guilty, and then we have to prove our innocence on a whole lot of issues for which we have no responsibility. And the Americans are covering up for their own failures and also covering up for the Indian friends at Pakistan's expense.
The first aspect is that it is a good development that United States realized for the first time that they need to give Pakistan non-military assistance, and they need to also assist Pakistan in social sectors. But the other aspect is that I think it is a failure on part of our government to lobby for Pakistan's sensitivities and national interests. This bill has been in pipeline for last 1.5 years. Government of Pakistan has spent millions of dollars on its lobbyists. Mr. Zardari has undertaken a number of visits saying that he has been lobbying for Pakistan. But one does not see any impact of that lobbying as far as the conditionalities are concerned. And I think it is an utter failure of Zardari government to lobby for Pakistan in the United States and to communicate to US lawmakers what are sensitivities of the Pakistani nation.
To be clear and on the record, there are no conditions in the Kerry Lugar bill to do with civilian aid. The $1.5 billion that Pakistan will receive through the Kerry Lugar bill for socio-economic assistance to Pakistan has no strings attached. This is the first time in the history of the United States and Pakistan's relationship that there is a bill that is solely aimed at the people of Pakistan, and the money is coming from the taxpayer, the people of the United States, and there are no strings attached on the domestic and socio-economic side.
On the dispersal of aid, we're not getting much. It's a little more than peanuts, and we are being told to really, make a confession and really bend and crawl for crumbs. And that's something which is frankly demeaning to our dignity and also detrimental to our national interest, in my view.
Time for a short break, on the other side of which, best friends forever